and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of January 31st. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week, we actually watched some movies.
Hey.
We did kind of a George Clooney double feature. One movie that he directed that just came out in late 2021, and then the other that he starred in, which is Up in the Air from 2009. But we'll start with the new one because we're so good at following pop culture closely. This is called
like 2 current movies we've talked about now from this year. So we have a rooting interest at the Oscars. Please let something that we have heard of win. Actually 3, because Tick, Tick, Boom. And
yeah.
So look at us.
Yes. So this one's called The Tender Bar. And it is based on a memoir by J.R. Moringer. Is that how you say it? I don't know.
How happy I am that you are having to say that and not me.
I thought throughout the course of the movie that the last name was Maguire. So I was clearly misinformed. Anyway, this was a memoir. And the author is what you get in the movie is the story of his sort of childhood and young adulthood, going to college at Yale and deciding to be a writer. And he is raised by his single mom in his grandparents' home with his Uncle Charlie, who is played by Ben Affleck. And really, the movie is a character study of Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Who runs the bar.
Yes.
Of the title.
Yes. Very nice performance by Ben Affleck, I thought. I really, he made that character very appealing. And,
he did. He could have been very annoying.
That's right.
Or frustrating, or just, like he kind of acts like he's this father figure and telling JR, the kid, sort of what to do. And then you could be like, well, he does live at home with his parents and he's like in his 40s and he runs a bar, but okay.
The movie is not actually about that guy. That guy is the one who ushers the kid sort of through his life. But boy, I bet there's a whole movie on that guy, and how he got to be where he is. And, but for the function he serves in the film, I thought he was very charming. And I really, really liked the early part of the movie when the kid was a kid. And I just wanted more of that. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's a college kid.
Right.
And I was somewhat less interested in that part of his life. Oh, there's a girl who doesn't treat him well. Okay. Oh, he's got some buddies. I feel like
there's a lot less Uncle Charlie in
yes.
that.
Yes.
In that
I do enjoy when Uncle Charlie pops in every now and then with his beard. But, that's a tale essentially told many, many, many times.
Correct.
Whereas the kid kind of growing up in the bar, and that was kind of fun, this fatherless kid and how his family rallies around him, and the grandpa goes to the father-son breakfast and the uncle gives him advice. And I would have liked to see
he gets to go bowling with his uncle and his uncle's buddy.
Yes. It just was all so fun. And just a kind of in the middle of the movie, it just says, okay, now we're switching to this other story.
Right.
So I was sad. It's what? We're not going to see that cute little kid anymore.
Cute little kid with the amazing eyelashes.
He was wonderful. Yes. So
he did a wonderful job.
Yes. I really wanted to see more of that.
And the production design, top notch,
absolutely
late 70s, early 80s, just the clothes and the cars and the decor and
the music.
Yes, the music.
They're all very familiar to me, children, you young people going to see the movie and saying, where is this music from? Yes, that was my teenage years.
Right.
Yes. And all the accents. It was just all very, very enjoyable.
Yes, it's Long Island, like very, very strong accents for sure.
Yeah. Nothing hugely compelling, but it just goes by very, very pleasantly until you get to then he's in college and he has college things happening and
college kid problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but, I certainly enjoyed it. And I think Ben Affleck's performance should get some attention if it, I don't know what's being considered as front runners Oscar wise. And that little boy was also very, very cute. And I enjoyed all the characters around them, the guys at the bar and the mom and, very good. And Christopher Lloyd was fun
as Grandpa.
Grandpa. Slicked down his hair for the school event, but and then the dad turns out to be not just a bad dad who abandoned his kid and doesn't come to pick him up when he promises to take him to the baseball game, but just really a hissable villain. And it was very satisfying when his adult son, I guess, at that point, called the police on him because he was being terrible to his current woman.
Yes, but, and he could see how scared the woman's daughter was.
Yes, that was just such a sad scene. I don't know if that is all exactly accurate, in which case you have to do it that way, but it's just evil in the end. But a nice fella.
No, not a nice
one. Would not wish to be named after him.
Yeah. Yes, there's a running commentary throughout the movie of him being unhappy that he introduces himself always as JR, and people say, what's that stand for? And he has to say it's Junior. I don't know why he doesn't
make something up.
Well, make something up or go by a different name. I mean, there's a scene where he tells his mother that he doesn't want to be a junior. And she says, you can have any name you want.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't change it.
You're a writer, man. Come up with something. Name your character.
Right. I mean, we don't even find out what the dad's first name is. I don't believe.
Isn't it John? I thought. Maybe not.
I don't know. He's credited in the credits as the voice because he's a DJ.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I mean,
that would have been, he should have made a name up for himself, but I guess he didn't because he still goes by JR. So, and
although the New York Times does not, he wants to be like JR without any periods in his name, and when he's working at the New York Times for his byline, and they're not going to change their policies.
No,
the New York Times. So.
One would not expect them to. That was just that few scenes there at the New York Times where he's working as a very low level person was just the newsroomiest, wasn't it? It was like bustling newsroom, people on phones, paper flying about,
wearing their 1987 clothing.
Yes. We're so sorry.
For sure.
To you poor actors. Yes, people really did dress that way.
What did you think of the final scene? So, throughout the movie, he's like, I decided I wanted to be a writer. I'm going to be a writer. People ask him, what do you do? I'm a writer. But he decides kind of at the end of the movie that he didn't feel like a writer until he was driving away from his hometown in his uncle's car. Like, well, you're not even writing right now. So what was it about that moment that made him feel like a writer?
Was that the days of Hunter S. Thompson where you just get in a fast car and you go someplace?
I guess.
Maybe. I don't know. Is something romantic that he's doing that makes him, I don't know. Anybody can be a writer if they say they're a writer. But it's show me the up all night typing. Because yes, children, we would have been typing then. and then throwing everything away and starting over and then tearing your stuff out. And then when there's a deadline, suddenly writing, 50 pages of perfect prose. That's what we want to see.
Yes.
They never show anybody actually being a writer, because actually being a writer is boring.
It's boring. It does not make for good screen.
But having experiences, that's what's fun.
Yes.
You have to have experiences to be a writer. If you're going to write a memoir, I guess you have to have experiences. But
yes,
if you're going to be a hack like me, you don't really have to do anything. Just find work.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wrote things based on my experiences too.
Yes. Well, the other movie was also based on sort of work and experiences.
Yes.
And also they were both very like man has man problems.
Yeah, they both were.
So the other movie that we watched was Up in the Air, which came out in 2009. And this is the one that Clooney stars in. So you do get to gaze upon his face.
Peak handsomeness.
Yes.
Golly. Yes. The camera enjoyed him quite a bit.
Yeah. There were almost no scenes that he wasn't in. So he plays a guy who is a frequent traveler because his job is companies hire him and his company when they are laying off large groups of people, and he flies in, he delivers their severance package, and he flies out. So
it's one of those movies about a job it never occurred to you existed. Mm-hmm. But I can believe that it does.
Or it did.
Did. Yeah, but man.
Yeah. It's pretty rough.
Yes. I guess if you do it enough, you become inured to it, but still.
Right.
Wow.
And that's kind of what the movie is about, that he has certainly compartmentalized this in such a way that he focuses all his attention on his acquisition of miles,
right,
and of detaching himself from his family, his alleged home in a scary studio apartment in Omaha, Nebraska, where he avoids going at all costs. But then, of course, the inciting incident of the movie is him kind of thinking, like, maybe this isn't the way to live.
Yes. And at the end, that turns out to be a huge mistake. And he should have just stayed happy.
He should have just enjoyed his miles.
He got his million miles, but it was ruined for him by feelings. To have some sort of a card for, not having feelings that he could flick out and fondle and make them go away.
Right.
But I did quite enjoy the sort of airport porn of this in terms of how smoothly he moves through. He has all the cards, he has all the upgrades, he has all the special favors and, rewards, and he just moves through so smoothly. He slides his cards, he goes to the fronts of lines, he gets through all things quickly, then he goes to the hotel and he gets to the front of the line. There's such an allure to it. Yes. It's like all the wrinkles of travel have been ironed out for him, and he just like glides through it and gets satisfaction from doing so, which was enjoyable. And I felt bad when that was taken away from him, first by him having to bring Anna Kendrick along with him, and she doesn't know all the ropes. No. And then by, as we mentioned, the acquisition of feelings, which was unfortunate. It's like, it's never going to be the same for him. It was so nice. He was so happy with himself. Darn it.
That's right.
So that was, I could just enjoy watching him move through. Such a good looking fella, just sliding through traffic. But
living the life.
Yes, but no more. No. Anyway, so yes, first he as if the business that they are in was not brutal enough, Anna Kendrick comes in as a new young go-getter saying, hey, we could just do this all over a computer screen and not have to travel at all. And first off, it's like, what? He's good at traveling. Don't make him not travel. And also, I mean, bad enough you are just pulling the plug on people's lives, but you're going to do it remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. That is brutal. So he takes her out on the road to actually do it in person so she knows what it's all about. And that is rough.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has this woman he's been seeing, at various, who is also a frequent traveler such as himself. And so they are, run into each other. But so he meets up with her while he's with Anna Kendrick, and then things get a little more complicated. And, the aforementioned feels start to creep in, and then he takes Vera Farmiga's character to his sister's wedding, which you get the impression he probably would have liked an excuse not to go to, but
right.
Oh, what the heck? This is the beginning of his slide down into actually being a full human person. And, there are hijinks there.
Right. Including him having to be the one who talks the groom into going through with the wedding when he gets cold feet. He's like, have you met me? Why are you asking me to do this?
He has to give the exact opposite of this speech we've been hearing throughout, where he advises people to cut out all the people in your life. And so you will be able to move more sleekly through it.
Right.
And, now he has to urge his would-be brother-in-law to, put some people in your backpack, man. It'll be good. Load that backpack up. That's what you want.
It's the way to live.
Yes. And then somehow he starts to want it too. And what did you think about, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched this movie, stop, go, watch the movie, and then come back. But what did you think about the ending? How did you feel about, and because part of me was feeling like, well, this is very rough. This woman turns out to be this cheating person who sort of misled him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, if the genders were flipped, it would be perfectly normal. Oh yeah, he's a jerk. So why can't a woman be that?
Right.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely surprised me.
Yeah. And him as well.
Yes, I was not expecting that to happen. But you're right. I mean, she feels like she didn't deceive him.
Right.
I mean, it was certainly by omission.
Yes.
Not on purpose, or not,
It didn't occur to her that he would feel differently.
Right.
But he did get, I mean, when they were on the boat and then at the wedding, she did maybe say things.
Yeah. I mean,
that
he
might
said,
have led
like
him
you.
to think that.
He said, I like you. And she said, I like you too, or something like that. So,
but I suppose she would not have thought that would go to the extent of him making a trip, especially to her house, to stand out on the steps with his boombox over his head.
Right.
I suppose she would have thought of that as much more of a leap, and that there would be many more encounters in between in which she could tell him, listen, really, we're sharks passing in the night here.
Right.
I sure like the shape of your mileage card. So what are they again? Lady George Clooney. No, anyway, but she obviously, she has kids and she has a husband, and she is like not sad that he clearly misunderstood, but appalled that he would put her life at risk, her, normal life at risk by bringing their road romance to her house.
Right.
So I guess he gets fired, basically.
I thought he got sent back out on the road.
Well, no, I think he gets fired. I mean, he gets fired by her. I think
yes,
he gets the equivalent of what he was doing to other people.
Right. Correct.
From her. And now he's going back on the road, but it's never going to be the same.
No.
He's not going to have as much fun. Makes me very sad. I don't
reach
think
his miles goal.
expect you're not meant to get to the movie feeling sad for him that he's lost the completely, frictionless and relationshipless existence he had. You're supposed to feel like, well, it's sad, but he's a better person now. He's a better human. Right. This is the way humans are supposed to be. So I really didn't. It's like, oh man, this is not a good time of your life to develop feelings. Can you just go back?
Go back.
Probably American Airlines has a leave your feelings here room that you could just put them in a locker and then go back to just enjoying your.
Or maybe that's one of the services at one of the hotels. That
right. Yes, absolutely. We have a feelings safe. Just put them here and never come back and get them. We'll destroy them. It's fine. Kind of brutal there at the end. Yes. But very enjoyable. Again, very good performances. Jason Bateman was his sort of loathsome boss, which is a particular skill set of Jason Bateman. So
exactly.
You see that and you go, oh, that guy. It's going to be that guy as his boss. Oh, dear. So
that is up in the air. Should you wish to revisit that era?
Also, as with The Tender Bar, just a movie that flows by you very pleasantly. And also, have I mentioned George Clooney, good-looking fella. So if that is something that you enjoy, I recommend.
Check it out.
Yes.
So next week, we are going to try out 2 new TV series. Again, we're going with new things. There's 2 new shows that seem kind of aligned with our interests and our TV watching experiences. One is called As We See It. This is on Amazon Prime, and is it a comedy? It's a comedy, right?
I believe it's considered a comedy.
About young adults with autism.
Yes.
As We See It. And then the other one is called Abbott Elementary. This is a sitcom about like an under-resourced, I think that's the term we use these days, elementary school in Philadelphia. That is on ABC and also available on Hulu. So we are going to watch the first episode of both of those. And then we'll come back here next week and we'll decide if we're going to keep watching one or both.
Yes.
Or neither, I suppose. But
that's right.
I think it would probably like at least one of them, if not both.
Yeah. Listeners, if you particularly enjoy one of these and wish us to keep pursuing it, mention it on Twitter at Roundabout Chat. Tweet at us and we will consider your vote.
Yeah, for sure. So that's going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.